love the new book. It feels like you're actually there. And, I mean, I know we've got the audio book
You were there for me, Rebel. You were in my ear because I got the audio
I mean, so many people have been loving the audio book as well because
good.
I actually, you know, you hear me and you can go out on a walk while listening to it. But when I wrote it, I kind of wanted it to be like I'm literally just sitting down with you.
Yes.
And I'm giving you my life story.
Warts and all.
Yeah.
Yorkshire
I know. Well, definitely
accent
warts
and all.
Yeah, the Yorkshire accent is still in there. Have you had any feedback from anyone from Yorkshire about your Yorkshire accent?
I don't think my Yorkshire accent is that great. Remember, I learned it when I was 16 for a play. But I give it a go.
It's good.
Yeah. What is it? It's like, my first line in this play was, oh, here you are, you gassing in ears if you want to play instead of getting on with your work. So it's not that great. But again, I was not a professional actress.
Remember, when I listened to that, I was going, right, what is she actually saying? And all I've done there is I've just watched your lips to try and work out what you were saying as well.
Long time ago.
That was a play called When We Are Married, and
Which I know,
yeah, it was a great play.
And I love the fact that I think you were about to get kicked out of the play because your accent wasn't good enough.
Yes.
And you got an English.
I don't think accents are my strong point.
Have you decided that now?
Yeah, although I can do quite a good South African, and I think because, as I say in the book, I lived in South Africa for a year, so I can be like, no, Rebel, you don't have a good South African accent.
Oh, that's great.
You do. I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah,
I got it from Lethal Weapon.
and if you do words like rhino.
The rhino, the black rhino.
Yeah,
the black rhino.
But that was one of the things
very dangerous.
in the book when you were talking about going to South Africa and you were like, oh, I thought I'd be singing in the bush with Pumbaa.
Yeah, I felt like it was going to be like the Lion King. Turns out, nothing like the Lion King.
Johannesburg, back in the day.
Yeah, back in the very dangerous place. I mean, a country that was full of beauty and majestic. Like, one time I climbed a mountain and then I saw wild baboons at the top of the mountain as the sun was rising. Like, stuff like that, incredible to see animals in
their natural environment,
in the nature, like see lions and stuff. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
But very dangerous. And then I ended up getting malaria and almost dying. But that led to me becoming an actress. I had this hallucination that I was an actress when I was in hospital. And then that changed the whole trajectory of my life.
And it wasn't just a hallucination. It was actually like you won an Oscar.
Yeah.
In your mind. I mean, you went straight to the top.
I
Even when you were hallucinating.
It was like Oprah would say, like, the universe would give you, like, signs of what you should do with your life. And then this was a full-blown hallucination that I win an Academy Award and I get up on stage and I give an acceptance rap because, well, another story in the book is that I had a rap group with my sister because, you know...
Sisters.
Yeah, girls. I love that you remember the name.
Of course.
Because, girls from Sydney are, like, so gangster. You know, you think of a blonde girl from Sydney and you think, yeah, gangster. But we tried. I never got a record contract with my rap group.
Still time.
You know,
Still time. Never say never, Rebel.
Weird.
I couldn't really express myself to people, and you know, it felt like being in a prison at times. And so I wanted to learn, and so I thought, well, okay, I've still got some time, and then I bizarrely came across this gym bag full of cassette tapes that my father had, which gave all sorts of tips about like improving your life. I guess they were kind of motivational tapes, and he just had them in the back of the car, and I started listening to them. And then one of the first things, like, I just really wanted to overcome my shyness, and so I forced myself to do things like speak to 5 different people every day, like new people.
So cool.
And like, of course, at first it was really awkward, and like my face would go red and everything. And I'd be on the bus and say to another girl, like, "Oh, hi, how's it going? You going to school?" "Yeah, me too." You know, like just stupid stuff. But then eventually you feel like, other people might also be feeling lonely and isolated as well, and me having a chat with them might have been the highlight of their day. And then, well, long story short, eventually, you know, I did change my personality and kind of became popular at high school and stuff.
Do you think you became more you? Because, I mean, that's the interesting thing, is the Rebel we see you, or is there still a shy girl in there that performs and goes big and goes large because she's sort of still fighting that?
There is at times, like, especially if I have to perform live in a theatre or something, like, I still get a bit nervous about it. But I've definitely, I think, I've overcome so much from when I was, but in some little areas. Yeah, I definitely, like, well, because I was a late bloomer in love. So dating was something I felt very, very shy about going on dates. And that's why in 2019, when I was really single, I realised, and, you know, getting into my 40s, I was like, I need to, like, go on more dates and, like, just to have more experience. And so I did my own little experiment. I went on, like, dated, like, 50 men in... Well, not at the same time, people.
Wow.
Settle down.
That'd be a challenge. That's a TV show there, Rebel.
Yeah, it was like anyone who asked me out, I had to say yes in my little experiment.
Okay.
And I did, and I, you know, and then I got more comfortable dating.
Because there's a whole chapter in the book that's dedicated to being a late bloomer.
Yeah, I know, because I did lose my virginity late compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
35?
Yeah, 35 years old.
The
which
fascinating thing about that, Rebel, is that the characters you always played, that we saw you, were always so confident. They were always so sexy. They were always so sassy.
Fat Amy, probably the character that I'm most popular for, is so uber confident. And in a lot of areas in my life, like, I was really confident. I just felt like, okay, I grew up in a very conservative Christian background. And I was kind of, my mum encouraged me, like, don't have kids early, like, go out into the world and have your career. And so I did that, and then I kind of struggled with self-worth issues, and then I thought, oh, well, relationships are not for me, and I never entertained it, and I had, like, this Olympic athlete level focus in order to make it in the entertainment business. And then I suddenly realised, oh, my God, and then it became an embarrassing secret, which I never told anyone until I wrote it in the book.
Yeah. And you told quite a few people now.
Yeah, and then now everybody knows about it, so now I'm fine to talk about it. But at first I was like, oh, gosh, should I put that in? But I think what's been really great is that people have contacted me on social media and said, thank you so much for saying that, because, you know, maybe not everyone loses it when they're teenage years, and, you know.
It feels like there's a lot of you taking control of lots of issues in your life in this book. Of course, there's a lot of controversy about the chapter that's all about lots of different people you met, but Sacha Baron Cohen is one of them. I think
I noticed the media tends to pick up on that chapter,
well, you can
which is just a small part in the book.
It is a small part, but it's created quite a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
The chapter's redacted over here as well.
Yeah, I think there's about a page and a half.
Blacked out.
It is redacted,
It's all
which,
very
I mean,
dramatic.
all I would read into that is, you know, someone who's expressed that they're litigious, and sometimes the way the defamation laws are, me being legally trained,
You're a lawyer.
know quite a lot about this.
Yep.
You know, somebody with some wealth and power can sometimes use the laws to their advantage, and, you know, and so that's just the book publisher mitigating their risk.
He said he denies all the claims that are made in the book. Printing falsehoods against the law in the UK and Australia. It's not a peculiarity, as you've described the fact it's redacted here and in Australia. It's a legal principle that existed for many hundreds of years. It's a clear victory for Sacha Baron Cohen and confirms all we've said from the beginning, that it's demonstrably false and a shameful and failed effort to sell books.
Well, OK, that's interesting, but obviously this is a story that I've told since it happened about 10 years ago. And, I mean, whatever, it's his right to say whatever he wants, and I'm not about cancelling people. I'm about sharing my story, and that happened to be the worst experience of my career. And I'm sharing it in the hopes that, you know, that kind of stuff happens less in the industry. And I've learnt definitely firsthand it is very hard to speak up against somebody in the public eye. And so I really respect people that do come out and say stuff, because I have learnt firsthand, like, how hard it can be.
And all these moments in the book, no matter how difficult or hard they were, inform where you are now.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess why I wanted to write about that experience, because it did happen 10 years ago. If I was the woman I am now, I would have left that set. I wouldn't have continued.
Yes.
And I felt a bit of shame about staying on that movie set. And so I guess writing it releases that shame.
Yeah, and I also feel like you're so honest throughout the rest of the book.
Oh, yeah, brutally honest.
About yourself, about it, like, it's so...
I embarrass myself most of all.
Jaw-droppingly at times. I mean, it's incredible.
But what's so nice is how happy you seem now as well. You seem very happy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I've had to overcome in my life, but obviously the end of the story is a very happy story, because I am engaged.
Congratulations.
Disneyland.
Thank you. Yes, I got engaged at Disneyland. It was so cliche. On Valentine's Day.
Even better.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever makes you happy.
And I struggled with fertility. I have something called PCOS, and the end of my story is I have a beautiful baby daughter, Royce, who is just oh, she melts my heart. Oh, there she is. And she's just started talking, and she says, like, I love you. And
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
Lord.
oh my gosh, and she just melts my heart.
Achy heart.
And it was brilliant, and it was worth. I went through 5 rounds of IVF to get her, and I just like it. Honestly, it's worth every moment of that emotional roller coaster. Anyone who's dealing with fertility stuff
You
knows what I'm
understand that
talking
as well,
about.
yeah.
It's just brilliant how open and honest you are.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed
Well,
listening
I felt
to you.
like, okay, like if I'm doing a dance routine or something, I'm going full out. And so if I'm writing a memoir, I am going full out. And I am going to tell you everything, you know, things about the entertainment business, things about weight, sexuality, everything. So there it all is.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably go real private.
Yeah.
Now you're going to go-
disappear somewhere for a bit.
Just go and be a mum.
Yeah, exactly.
And have a lovely married life as well. Have you got dates for the wedding? Is there anything?
Probably it'll be next year.
Next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And country,
this
you're going to do
year's
it
been a bit
Australia, you're going to
busy.
go America, you coming here?
I feel like it's going to be a beach wedding, but I
Beach.
just don't know
Lovely.
what beach. Yeah.
There's a few beaches to choose from.
Somewhere exotic.
Yeah, I mean, Australia does have...
Yeah, they've got
Yeah,
some good
amazing.
ones.
Well, you should be very proud of it. It's brilliant. Well done.
Oh, thank you
it's
so
absolutely
much.
Brilliant.
I know, and it's going so well. It's like
Is
the number
it?
2 book right now in the
Good.
UK. So I'm
Rebel
very,
rising.
very proud of it. And even if it affects 10 people's lives positively, it's well worth it.
I think it
Well
will.
said.
Rebel,
Well
thank you
said.
for coming
It's
in.
out now.
Lovely
Thank
to
No
meet you.
worries. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. Thank you.